Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a comparison between a Jacoje gold chain and a gold chain from a different jeweler. Both of these are 14 karat and both of them are solid gold. They are not plated, neither one of them, and it's not hollow, not filled, nothing. They're both of equal purity in terms of the metal, as far as my knowledge. For this one, I never had it tested or anything, but I do have peace of mind knowing with Jacoje, and this is why I recommend you buy from them, that this is even above 14 karat. This one I haven't had tested. I would assume it's probably above 14, but I don't really know for a fact. But for this comparison, they're both 14 karat gold. This one, it's very unlikely that it's below 14 karat gold. So they are both 14 karat gold. Now, the alloys, colors can differ just because of the different alloys that a different jeweler might use. But that's not going to throw it off as much as this seems on camera, which it does look like that in real life. It's just the quality of the two. So if we hold them up beside each other, you can see this one. So this one is obviously thinner than this one. This one's 2.5 millimeter. This one I'm not 100% sure of its diameter, or width, I should say. But it is smaller than this one. I'll say that off the bat. You can see it. But something you also notice is this one looks very dirty compared to the Jacoje one here. It almost has, like, in between the links, it has black. Now, my Jacoje bracelet also has some of that because it is a bracelet, and it is on my wrist, and my wrist gets a lot dirtier than my neck. But even my bracelet doesn't have this amount of grime in it. Now, I'm not sure 100%, but I'm not sure if that should show the quality of a piece. This one I did wear slightly longer than I did this one. This one I haven't had as long as this one, but I will say that this one seems to remain a lot cleaner, and you can see that. It looks just like it did new. It looks incredible new. Great polish on it, great cut of the links, or great, like, the way it was made was very well. And this one is it's okay. It's not near as good as the Jacoje in terms of keeping it clean. As you can visibly see here, it looks dirty, even on camera. It just doesn't look as clean as this one does. And this one, you can't see hardly any of that, even though it's been through the same stuff this one has. I haven't cleaned either one, but this one looks the same as it did new, I will say that. Now, the reason I got the Jacoje one is because this one ended up breaking off my neck. As you can see, there is a breakage in the links, and with a gold chain of rope, it's a rope, like in style, there's no repairing it, especially at this size. It's such a small width. I mean, you can repair it, but you can't repair it to the point that it looks like it did before. It's always going to look different in that area. And this is why I bought the Jacoje one. But when I got the Jacoje one, I realized, wow, this is better than my old one a lot. Immediately. So this one, the reason it broke off my neck is because when I fell, it got caught on something. And that is not anything against this chain. Any 2.5 millimeter, or even 2.5 millimeter, or any gold chain, or I should say gold rope chain, 2.5 millimeters and below, it's going to break from that. There's no, I mean, you can't put this on one end and then put your body weight on the other end and accept this to hold your entire body weight. It's going to break. Either way, that's going to break. So if this one, same fate happened as this one, it would also break. It's just physics. That's just a fact. It can't withstand a body weight falling against it. So that's not something against this specific chain. That's something that would happen to any chain of this relatively this class here, in most chains at all. So that's nothing against this chain that it broke. This one would do the same thing. But when I got this one, like I said, I noticed a difference in quality. So let's go ahead and just take a look at the clasps. The clasp on this one is a slightly different clasp than this one. Let me find the clasp. Here it is. We can see on the clasp, this one's smaller because it's a smaller chain. It's also a different style. And I think that both clasps are good quality. I don't think I have anything against either of these clasps. They're both, if we check the like actual springiness, this one's definitely springy. Springs back, and that's an issue. Some chains that spring breaks or wears out on some lower quality chains. I haven't seen it happen to any Jacoje, but that's not just something against Jacoje. It may happen to a Jacoje if you use the spring enough. It's just something that wears out. It's a little piece of wire, so that's why I recommend you to not overuse it and like regularly take it on and off and on and off. But if you do, that can be repaired. If you send it to him, he will repair that for you. I'm not saying it's free, but that can be repaired by most jewelers. It's just something that happens sometimes with a chain. But this one, springiness is good on both of them. So that the clasp, I would say, is a good quality on both. Now, as for the what's right here for stamping, the stamping quality on these isn't the same. This one, if you look at it, you can tell that it's like barely. Focus here. So if you can look on this one, the quality of like the stamping that's done on it isn't as good as the Jacoje. It's almost like it literally was just stamped in, but not well. That ain't gonna work. I don't know why it won't focus, but see there, it's stamped in, but it's not very deep stamped in. It's just kind of like on the surface and there too. And something you'll also notice is this isn't really that polished. The edges are kind of rough, and it's not that shiny, and that's not because of grime. That's because it's just, maybe it was. I don't know. But either way, this isn't like as well sanded down and filed and contoured as the Jacoje one is. And like I said, that is just barely stamped down in there on either side. It's barely stamped in there. While if you look on the Jacoje one, it's stamped in, but it's stamped in very well, and it's also at a very high polish. It's stamped deep into the gold. This one, in comparison to the other one, if you had them both with you and were looking at them in person, you would easily pick out this one as higher quality, the Jacoje one. It's stamped in there very clearly, very well. And the edges are nicely polished and filed down and smooth. And everything is just done very well on this one, as you can just see already compares to the other one. Let me get the other one again. See, it's just, this one's kind of hard to read, and that's just because, that's not because it's dirty, it's just because it wasn't stamped in there as well. The K on that looks kind of messed up. And the Better Business Bureau logo is I'm pretty sure that's what that hallmark is kind of, and please correct me if I'm wrong on that, by the way, if that hallmark is Better Business Bureau, but it's just not stamped in there as clearly and as well as the Jacoje one, and it's not as well, like, smooth. It's just kind of, it's like they just stamped this out of a small sheet of gold, and they got a machine and stamped it down, and then really put it on there and really didn't do much to smooth it down, while this one is shiny, and this is even after a bunch of wear. Look how shiny it is. It does have some minor scratching, you know, like micro scratches, because I wear it constantly, but I have great confidence that I'll be able to read that for as long as this chain's around. I'll still be able to read this, and it'll still be smooth. Now, something I did notice with a higher quality rope chain is rope chains do occasionally pull, like it'll pull your neck hair occasionally, which is uncomfortable. This one, I've noticed it, I don't even know if I've ever noticed it with this, maybe once or twice the entire time I've owned it. This one, it would happen every time I bent down. It would just like pull my neck hairs. And I don't know if that's a difference in quality or size. I don't know what it is, but it definitely is more comfortable to wear this one. It feels better on the neck. It sits on the neck a lot smoother, more comfortable than this one did. And also just this polish on that one. This one, it's just shiny, right? But this one is a different level of like shiny. Even after the amount of wear that I do on it, it's still this way. So I'm going to start wrapping up the video now. But you can see many differences in the quality. And I will say, I'm pretty sure that most of the time you're thinking, oh yeah, Italian jewelry is the best jewelry you can buy. And Italian jewelry is very high quality. But if I'm not mistaken, I think, and I could be wrong, I'm pretty sure I heard him say one time in a video that his rope chains are Peruvian. And that would make sense since there's no Italian hallmarks on this. Peruvian rope chains, don't mistake that as, oh, it's not Italian, it's not the highest quality. Peruvian rope chains are the best of the best. They're very good, and it's evident in the quality of these two. The Peruvian one is much higher quality. In personal, like, owning it myself, it feels better, it wears better, and I honestly think that it's a way higher quality than this piece of jewelry was. So, in comparison, I will say Jacoje one, and not just in looks, but in wearing it, it seems to be much more high quality than the other one, and it seems to be definitely, I would recommend this over any other jeweler, because if you buy from another jeweler, you could end up with something more of this quality, but if you buy from Jacoje, you're going to get that quality every time. So if you're thinking about another jeweler, and I'm not saying every jeweler's like this, I'm not saying Jacoje is the only one that produces this quality of jewelry, but I am saying that you may not know. If it's not someone you really, really trust and is reputable, you might end up with something like this. And why would you end up with something like that if you could buy this kind of quality for probably even a better price, or very similar at that? But also, with this, you're getting great customer service, great quality, like obviously, as you can see, and a relationship with an actual jeweler, one person, Braden Homack. He's the owner of Jacoje. He signs when you buy a piece of Jacoje jewelry, you're going to get something like this right here. He personally signs it. Every one of them, he writes your information of the piece on it. He actually cares about the quality and the value of his customers. And some jewelers, if they're not reputable enough, they may not do that. So it's something that you want to pay attention to. This is something that's an investment. It's not cheap, and you don't want to do something that's going to save you that extra couple bucks when you're talking about something of this expense, something of hundreds of dollars. You don't want to waste that on something that may not be up to par. With Jacoje, you always know that it's going to be up to par. So this just shows the quality of his jewelry is no lie. You can see it in these two chains that his jewelry is superior in quality. So I would highly recommend, if you're thinking about another jeweler, I'm not saying that they suck or anything. I'm not saying he's the only jeweler in the world that can provide this quality. But I am saying that if you buy from him, you are guaranteed to have that quality. And you may not be guaranteed that with another jeweler. So that's just something that I would like to say about this comparison, is you will always get that quality if you buy from him. So even if it may be more expensive than the other jeweler, you're going to get something you're not going to get with the other jeweler. And that's a great relationship with a person, a single jeweler you can talk to. Email him and he'll respond almost instantly. So that is the comparison of quality between this and another jeweler.